Hello again.
We're back again. Sorry it's been a while. Once again, we find ourselves apologizing for a hiatus. Um, we've been absent for a couple different reasons.
The first reason, if you recall, our last video was to relate a stream of unfortunate events or circumstances, not
Mhm.
unlike what Job went through.
Yeah, not quite to that degree.
No.
Joy didn't lose 10 children or anything like that, but
True. But we did give the opportunity for others to show their support on a GoFundMe page that we'd set up. So we wanted to go without comment or solicitation from us for a while, which kind of pleads into our second reason why we were gone for so long, or flows into that second reason, I guess. But again, we wanted to go without that comment or solicitation until the time period for the GoFundMe page expired. They actually have a time period where you have to withdraw the funds, which happens to come up in November. So we started this GoFundMe process, not because that we're destitute because of those circumstances, and not even because of the possibility of the $20,000 reward that we offered being claimed by someone for revealing the perpetrator, because that cost, quite honestly, would have ended up being covered by whoever was the perpetrator was, and it would have been a court-ordered restitution situation anyway. But the whole GoFundMe situation was an opportunity for us to see the support that's available among the XJW community, really for the purpose of a lawsuit against Watchtower. Now, that may seem like an apples to oranges comparison, but in reality, anyone donating to such a cause, one, may not be directly involved in the case. Two, the load would have to be covered by many people. And three, timely feedback on progress on the proceedings may not be possible just because, well, it's a court case.
Likewise, suing Watchtower has to be really a group effort in which the individual submits to the cause of others, who have the circumstances of a legal complaint.
So, how did our donations go? Well, I guess about as you'd expect.
About as expected, yeah.
We could probably put them into three groups.
Yeah, in the first group, we have, like a few very generous, like going out of their way beyond even what their circumstances allowed. These people are very rare. And despite only knowing us really through videos, knowing that we're not destitute, and maybe that's enough for them to see our personalities, whatever the case. But these people are to be commended for seeing our burden and wanting to help us, really in Christian love.
Right. The second group, there are a few of us that are very analytically reasonable. And I say that because, one person even went so far as to do the math. The number of requested donation amount divided by the subscribers gives the amount that he was going to donate. Again, it's very reasonable, though mathematically incorrect, since subscribers numbers don't translate necessarily into views. In fact, in those videos that we highlighted those issues, they were averaging, I think, 400 views each from our 1,400 subscribers. So it doesn't necessarily equate mathematically, but nonetheless a very reasonable approach that makes sense.
And the third category, which is what most people are, didn't do anything, took no action.
And we don't mean to say that to blame shovel or to shame anyone, because truth be told, we're probably in the same boat. We'd be in that category ourselves, we feel for you, but we don't really know you. So in our skepticism, keep warm and well fed.
Yeah, like, it's too bad for you kind of thing. Yeah. So no, we're not shaming anyone. We're just relating what occurred as our test results, what the reality really is.
So while we were surprised by the generosity of that first group, if we take these results and apply them forward to a lawsuit, kind of as a case in point study, we can say that it's not sustainable for a lawsuit. Really what would need to happen is that third group would need to turn into that second group of analytical financial supporters. And hopefully that change can happen when people see the need to support a lawsuit.
So you might just ask, well, why didn't we just come right out and start a GoFundMe for a lawsuit in the first place?
Well, to let you in on a little secret, we've been sort of beating around the bush on this publicly because we've been working behind the scenes on this issue. You see, I've never met my biological father, and man, I don't know how we want to get into this, but
It's complicated, but an uncomplicated is right around the time we were, I guess, right around the time we were going through our disfellowshipping and the whole process of it, which we haven't divulged a lot of that, nuts and bolts of our meetings or any of that stuff.
because of wanting to pursue a lawsuit.
Yeah, and
But Tiffany's like many people are, they're internet creepers.
yeah, I'm a creeper, and for some people, with some things, like I can be, and I think a lot of people are. They're just unsure, and the internet is
Anything you
curious.
want to find out answers to. But
Yeah.
she would always ask me, what? Don't you ever wonder about your the real family and the other side of your dad's side? And I'm like, nah, not really. I always explained it like being, it's a concrete pillar, and your life is built on this concrete pillar, and whatever it is in your past, you've encapsulated it in this concrete, and your life is built on that. Why crack into it and find out that maybe it's empty, or why crack into it and find out that it's not structural? What you've encased it in, even though it may be a facade, or maybe I don't know how you'd explain it psychologically, but what you've encased it in and you've built your life on and you're okay with, to crack it open may expose your whole foundation. So I'd always, just whatever. I don't really pay much attention to that. But
so I would get on the internet and, just search his name. I have just very, very limited information, of course, and I found him. And I showed Chad, well, what do you think about this? Do you want to meet him? And I also learned.
And I always played it off. But
Yeah.
then as we were going through our disfellowshipping, and she'd done this before we were disfellowshipped, just not too long ago, before we were
not very long
disfellowshipped.
before.
Within a year or so probably.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, we were going through our disfellowship. We were just like, this should be illegal. This isn't right. This isn't. And so she came to me and said,
it looks like your dad, your biological dad, is a lawyer. A corporation lawyer.
Yeah, so not just a normal lawyer, but
like a land, divorce.
Not a divorce lawyer,
yeah.
but more on the corporate side of things. And in talking to my sister, who is a lawyer and dealt with other issues of family issues and things of that nature, she would say that that is out of my field. At that time,
our situation that we were dealing with is she doesn't deal with lawsuits with
corporate, whatever else.
Entities like that. Yeah.
More of a family situations is what she dealt with. So while she gave us some great non-legal advice, again, I think we've related this before, she was very good about, we'd say something and sometimes it's based out of emotion or based out of frustration or based out of anger. And she said, yeah, that sucks, but is it illegal? And so she really helped us finite in ways to help find things, or I shouldn't say find, discover the things that were illegal or separate the things that were illegal from the things that were just angry, emotional, and wrong morally.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, moral turpitude is a legal cause.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so we were trying to set up a situation where I'd meet my real father and we could record that. And it may seem like a little shallow to use that for such a purpose. I'm not going to shame anybody who wants to judge me for that. It's not like we were looking for a freebie, but we knew from going back to that analytical donator who basically mathematically calculated it out as far as what he was going to donate. The more people you have that are going to take up that cause to donate, the better your odds are. For example, let's use those 400 videos. If we were going to reach $20,000, it'd need to be $50 a piece for each one of those 400 viewers, for example, not videos, viewers of the videos, on those 3 videos about the problems we went through is what I'm talking about. Anyways, it would be about $50 each. However, if there's 20,000 viewers, now it's only $1 each to come up with $20,000. And likewise, if they gave $50 each, well, you can imagine what the amount would be.
Exponentially, it goes much.
Yeah. So the bottom line is that the more people there are that see a video, and can you imagine the tagline? Jehovah's Witness meets his biological father for the first time to sue Jehovah's Witnesses. Who happens to be a lawyer. So I mean, however the tagline went, can you imagine the views that would generate, which would be publicity for the purpose of raising donations to sue witnesses?
Yeah, and in a sense, that's the type of traction
that's needed.
That we need some sort of publicity, not just and not to get me wrong. Like, I think the publicity that we have is good.
But it's no John Cedars.
Yeah.
It's no,
no.
It's not, we have a small demographic to draw from, and it would need to be much more, because there are a lot of people that talk about how it's illegal, and there's a bunch of chatter among XJW community about how it's wrong and whatever else, but nobody's actually doing anything. And we wanted to actually do something with it. And I'm not blaming them, because it's hard to sort through all this and find out how to do it. And it can't be an individual that does it, because this isn't a situation where you can, it's sex abuse and clear cut and whatever else.
Right.
It could be a long drawn out process. And so in meeting my real father, that would have given us the traction to be able to start such a endeavor. In the long run,
it's been hard to keep it to ourselves, because we want things to be just so in the videos, but he's from the United States, but he doesn't live in the United States.
Yeah, so that's what we discovered. His practice was in New Mexico.
Yep.
And he lived in New Mexico. But turns out he retired a couple of years ago. Well, probably a couple of years ago to the date when we started looking after researching.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
And he has a place in Guatemala. And so he was in Guatemala. So we didn't want to tell him who I was, because out of fear that, well, I mean,
excuse me,
he's never met me my entire life. It's very possible he doesn't want to. So was I willing to crack that encapsulated pillar that I built my life on for the cause of the greater good? Again, some may fault me for that. I can't say. I'm just thinking about the greater good and saving the individuals who are misled by Watchtower is my thoughts, just like we were.
Yeah.
And again, we still believe many of the things they teach, but some of the things they don't, and the greater principles of being able to not have someone play master over your faith is a misrepresentation in that religion. And I think, again, that we are perhaps one of the greatest examples of individuals that have been disfellowshipped unrighteously because we haven't done anything wrong except for ask questions.
Yeah. And even now that we've been disfellowshipped, have not, but even from Watchtower's perspective, we're really without fault.
Right. So I guess going back to that whole thing is he was in Guatemala. We were trying to keep the identity of me somewhat undercover. We had other individuals that we were collaborating with that had reasonable claims for lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
And they were contacting him also, but not telling him what it was for. Again, this is, you tell somebody we were wanting to sue a religion.
Yeah.
I mean, for an average lawyer, it's like, are you kidding me? You're going to try to sue a religion? Because we have talked to several lawyers. Mm-hmm. There's a case on the books right now of we called Zulkin, for example, and they're like, yes, it's. He explained it to us this way. Or the lawyer I spoke to for his firm, I should say. You are a Catholic and you join Catholicism viewing abortion as wrong. They tell you abortion is wrong. Then all of a sudden they start allowing abortion. Can you sue them because they changed the doctrine on you? that becomes the sticky part of that. So here you donated towards their cause based on this one stand they have, and now they've changed that stand. Can you sue them for it? It starts being very sticky when you talk about the legalities of freedom of religion in the United States. However, there is a court case right now, and it has to do with, and it's a very finite point that you have to narrow down to. And I think it's against the Mormons or Seventh-day Adventists. And what they tell you in the beginning doesn't match up to what
Latter-day Saints.
Latter-day Saints. What did I say?
Seventh-day Adventists.
Right. Latter-day Saints. That what they say is not represented truthfully in what their
tenets are.
Right. So it's not a matter of or as though the case in California or Canada brought out that's on YouTube, their processes internally aren't matching up to what they say they do.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a legal point. So in other words, you can judge the fairness of a process without judging the process itself. So in other words, we're not saying your process, whether or not your process is legal or not, but for you to misrepresent your process is illegal. You see how that can be very finite in its legality.
And I want to say, given the fact that he is not in the United States, and then, now it's been since February? They've put such restrictions on traveling. How are we supposed to get him into the United States? We can't travel to Guatemala.
And so the bottom line is that all communications have kind of went radio silence.
And it's frustrating.
Tiffany's tried to contact him personally. We've had other people in the group try to contact him. Again, we didn't want to tell him what the lawsuit was for or that I was involved. But it's been so long now. It's not like we hide who we are. It'd be pretty easy. I can't imagine that by now he doesn't know who I am or who we are.
I mean, it doesn't take anything to just.
He's a lawyer, for goodness sakes.
Google someone's phone number. I mean, there's ways. And
we didn't hide our phone number or anything like that. Tiffany used her own phone to communicate with him. But so that radio silence, maybe he just doesn't want to meet us, whatever else. So it seems like, as Jehovah's name means, he causes to become. That's not the way it's going to become if it's going to. That doesn't mean that we totally die off and say Jehovah doesn't want it to happen, because as we know with everything, as the scripture says, or that Watchtower article talked about strengthening your hands, and the individual the king that shot the arrows into the ground, and he only shot 3 times and should have been shooting a whole lot more, he quit, and we're not going to quit as far as that goes until we're absolutely certain that this isn't the course that Jehovah wants us to take as far as a lawsuit's concerned.
Yeah, and I hope I'm not taking the scripture out of context. I just had one pop in my head. But, when we were moving over to here where we live now, North Dakota, there was a scripture that was brought out at the meeting that talked about the good news and that there'd be a large door of opportunity be opened. And that scripture is talking about the ministry work. However, this is still a large door of opportunity, I feel, but yet there are many opposers, and that's kind of my point, is that there are a lot of things against.
And to be fair, and you may think, oh, well, that's kind of like being like Balaam. Well, what's the difference between Balaam and the prophets? Other than Balaam enticed them into doing wrong. We aren't enticing Watchtower to doing anything wrong. Mm-hmm. We are speaking out and trying to stop the wrongdoings that they are committing. And so there's a difference there between doing what, as I've said several times in our videos, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Amos, Micah, you can't throw a dart at the Bible, Jesus Christ himself, and not find an individual who was a nobody, a nipper of figs. I wasn't a prophet, my father wasn't a prophet, I wasn't born a prophet, but nonetheless, Jehovah said to me, this is wrong. And so there's got to be a point where you stand up and you say, no, this is wrong and it's got to stop. And I'll do what it takes in order to help bring that to a close, to the best of my ability. So that's kind of the long and the short of that, or the short of the long side of that. 2 years worth of trying to find my biological father and finding out that he either doesn't want to meet me or COVID got in the way. I don't know which, but
Yeah, it's frustrating, but like you said, there's other avenues, but still.
So this other avenue, as you mentioned, would partially be doing this. It's got to be financially backed. We have met with another lawyer with a couple other individuals, and we actually have one of the videos that we were in with some other people on with the lawyer, and maybe we can release that if we edit the lawyer out of there.
Yeah, because we don't have consent from him to put that in a public venue.
I don't know if he'd ever consent to it, but
yeah, I don't know if he would either.
Just putting it forward for the conversation, so you can kind of get the same insights that we had off of that. Maybe we can, because we did record that through a Zoom call. He has even agreed to take on the case, but again, it's a $5,000 retainer, and they charge $200 an hour. And it don't take long to burn through that when you've got Watchtower. And again, you're battling a major corporation. Is exactly what Watchtower is. And I'm not bashing them for having a corporation set up. Every nonprofit has a C corporation set up. So I'm not bashing that as far as Watchtower is concerned, but that's what they are. They are a corporation.
Yeah.
And they will pull corporate moves in court. They're going to flood you with paperwork and court orders and try to do court whatever just to tie it up in the legal paperwork game.
And waste money.
Yep, and burn you through your money. There's a reason why some people say, I don't have the money to battle you in court. What you're doing is absolutely wrong, but I don't have the money to battle you in court. It's because they know that they've got lawyers working underneath their belt.
Mm-hmm. And for them, they're not paid.
Yep. Watchtower doesn't have to pay their lawyers. They can just run you out.
Mm-hmm.
And by goodness, wouldn't they want to? Because what we're talking about suing them for, there are a whole lot of people. It cracks a whole different can of worms as far as fraudulence and abuse and the practices that they do. It's not just a matter of sexual improprieties. It goes into morally mental abuses and fraudulent misrepresentations and things that they do in their day-to-day practices of misrepresenting themselves. It would open a god-awfully horrible can of worms for them. And that's why people should support it. But again, whether or not they will, I have no idea. But when it comes to spiritual things, we've always refused to profit from it. And I know that witnesses talk about this. You receive free, you give free. Never mind the fact that the CO gets a
stipend.
Well, you can call it a stipend, but he also gets his car paid for, the car insurance paid for, his food paid for. So all the other things that everybody else is working hard to pay for, he gets for free. So you can say he got a stipend. No, he gets a stipend of cash. The rest of the things, but the rest of us all have a stipend of cash too when you talk about the vast majority of people. Yeah, we've got a stipend of cash in the bank. What do they talk about as far as Americans, and just speaking as an American, and how much money they have set aside to be able to get through a trouble? There's no money in the bank for if some unexpected occurrence, health or otherwise, some happens to them. They're not able to absorb that cost. So most of Americans are working for a stipend of standby cash. The rest is what you have to do in order to survive.
Yeah.
Your electricity,
Maintain
your
your
car
life.
payment, your insurance,
Mortgage.
whatever else it is.
If you have a mortgage.
Yeah. Your living expenses, all that's paid for the CO.
Right.
So don't give me this garbage about all he gets is a stipend. Anyway. I got off on a side tangent.
I wasn't saying that, by the way.
Right, no. But the point we're getting for is when it comes to receive free, give free, we've always just, here, I guess this is the best way to look at it on my phone here. Yeah, right here.
You got a pile of them.
Well, this one's actually a Harbor Freight card. But these three, these are gas cards. When you give public talks around here, a lot of times it takes
money.
Much to drive there, so many miles. I mean, it's 70 miles to our congregation, and we've literally driven
3-4 hours just to a hall
to do a talk.
To do a talk.
So they give you, $25 or whatever it is for a gas card. We've never used them. We always just, a lot of them I just gave away to, different people that I knew spent time in the ministry, sometimes pioneers, sometimes just individuals in the ministry.
Or somebody who you knew was like a single mother
Yeah.
who just needed a little bit of money.
But these are just gas cards we've never used, and I never gave them away, but should probably just throw them away. They're probably no good anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how long those keep. But the point is that we haven't ever benefited from spiritual activities when we put money in our tank. Again, we'd put 500 miles on in a day in our ministry sometimes. So
we'd get up real early and we'd drive counties all over, 3 or 4 counties all day long doing calls.
And we'd just absorb the cost.
Yeah, and pay for it all.
But going along with that, receive free, give free spirit. Same with this, what was given to us, what was donated to us in generosity, we're going to match that above and beyond, and basically donate that. We'll start it off, and it'll be over $500. I can say that. I don't know how much it is totally. But
between what's on GoFundMe?
What's on GoFundMe and what we're going to throw in, which quite honestly, it'll probably be the money that we've made off of YouTube.
Yeah, which
because
has not been
we consider this a spiritual endeavor. We support the scriptures. We give a witness to truth, even though it's against Watchtower, a lot of it. But we also give a witness to just general truths as we speak of things, even though that's not necessarily what this channel is about. It's about Watchtower. It's just like the prophets. Yeah, the prophets weren't necessarily speaking. I mean, you go to Amos. Amos was all about bashing the organization. That's what he was doing.
And Micah was too.
Doesn't mean that he didn't, in the course of that, speak to truth, biblical truth, and Jehovah's truths, but his purpose was to slam the organization of his day and all the wrongs they were committing, and likewise with us. So still, it's a form of our ministry. So we'll donate that to get the ball rolling, and we've got another GoFundMe set up for the purpose of suing Watchtower.
And the second reason that we've been absent is we've been just extremely busy restoring one of our houses. And it started literally right after that haircut video.
Which played really well into us. It played really well into us not commenting on YouTube or our desire not to solicit for the purpose of those donations, just to see how it would go, because literally we were working from dawn to dusk, what a quack, dusk, dawn to dusk, working on that house. And we really didn't have time we took video throughout the whole process, but we just didn't have any time to edit because we're working from dawn to quack.
We didn't have time to really do much at all. We just, like you said, dawn to dusk, we worked on this house, and this is actually the first time I think I've put makeup on since July. So this is all we've done is work on this place.
Literally all we've done. Yeah. But we've got several videos that will in excerpts, and we'll just throw those in the end.
I think there's about when I put them in folders, there should be about 6 videos or so.
We don't know how we'll divide it up yet. That's the first editing.
But that's what it is.
But we'll throw one at the end of here, and you can expect those as our progress as we've gone through that this summer. So any closing thoughts?
No, we're just very grateful that we have this opportunity to be on YouTube and have this platform. Granted, our platform's not very big, but I hope that we can be a support to some Watchtower suing cause.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we don't end up whatever we get as far as those funds are concerned, whatever we have donated to this cause, we'll forward to somebody else who's doing this, and again, it has to be specific as far as what cause we'll support, but we want to make sure that goes towards that cause.
Yeah, so hopefully we will be around, and I don't know, I feel like we haven't closed a video in a long time.
How about with our Hooters?
I got a straw in there.
Apparently these are right hand. If you're left hand, then it shows outward.
Oh.
And maybe it looks like a mustache on me. Enjoy our restoration video.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Bye. I heard some thunder. We're going to get another thunderstorm, but these clouds are so cool. I'm gonna walk around the corner, try to get a better view. God, it is so bubbly. And walk over by the railroad tracks. We did get some rain last night. We got a storm this morning. I didn't hear it. I slept through everything. But that rain way over there is starting to come towards us. But the clouds look like they're moving north. Yeah, they look like they're moving straight north. Maybe. But yesterday we set up so we could start roofing or tearing out windows, I think. And I don't remember Chad taking the ladder down, and I think it fell off the roof. We never tied it down. So I think it fell off the roof. We have to make sure it didn't hit any windows. But it's right there, right in the corner. So I'm gonna have to go check that out. So what's gonna happen? Maybe we should take them both down just in case we do get something pretty bad. It's only supposed to do this for another 2 or 3 hours and then be calm for the afternoon. So I don't know. Find out here. But if it did fall off, it would have just the upper one. This is the one that was up there. It's on the ground. I'm gonna make sure it didn't break a window. Otherwise, I'm gonna be pretty upset. I don't see. This is what I'm talking about. I don't think. Yeah, it did fall off the roof. Look at that. Hit the house and it didn't break any glass, thank goodness, but it did break this. So we're gonna have to drag that back up there and make sure we tie it all down. That's too bad. Have to fix that. The whole point is to not break things before we fix them. Yeah, that's starting to sound mean over there. Okay, well, I guess I got a couple hours before it clears up. I've got some things to do today.
So this is our project for today. Well, I shouldn't say today, but we're starting the project today. We got set up, got all the roofing and stuff down here, got the truck set up, tore off the first little bit of shingles. You can barely see on the very tip top where it goes straight up and down on that right side there. We took off some of the shingles to get prepped up for it, but time to rip off this roof. It's supposed to be a high of like 75 today and nothing higher than 80 for the next 3 days, but clear, so time to rip into it. So this is what I mean when I say that we tore off the first couple runs just to get it ready. Like I say, we got about 2 inches plus of rain, but it's not too wet up here. Dries out pretty quick. But it's a rather intimidating roof. This is the side that's really bad. These turrets aren't going to be fun. Well, I guess I better get started. It's about 8:30 maybe.
Good morning. I don't know if you can see the plane over there. Now it's behind that tree, of course. I'm behind something, like usual. I just wanted to give a little update. We didn't video anything yesterday. We were so tired. But what we did the first day was all of this side, including that little turret section, or this, I guess not really the turret, the valley, the 2 little valleys. Yesterday, which would have been day 2, we just did this half up till
It's really high up here, and I'm just starting out up to the top here. And then the bottom of that, we still have that half to do. Today, which would be day 3, we're gonna start on this side because the truck is still parked on this side of the house. We're gonna do I don't know what you'd call it, not really half, but maybe a third of this side to start with, and just see what the day is like. It's supposed to be getting warmer and warmer through the week. Today is a Thursday. Tomorrow it's supposed to be like 88 with thunderstorms in the afternoon. So we really can't do a whole lot tomorrow. And if it's too hot today, we can't really do too much today either, because we just wear out so fast. So that's what the plan is. This is not an easy job. A lot of detail work. But Chad is not feeling the best today. He's very sore. We haven't been on a roof in a little while, like a couple years, 2-3 years maybe. So this is all new muscle groups we haven't used in a while, but he's taking a shower and getting ready. I got my coffee, so I'm just tanked up on caffeine. Well, I'm starting to be. So that is my little update for right now. My nice little hydraulic line mess down there on the sidewalk. Oh my goodness. Another plane. It's like 8 in the morning. We've started about maybe an hour ago. I just wanted to give you a different perspective. It's hard to get a shot of the roof because of the way it slopes. And there's like a line of bushes here, but Chad's just gonna tear off this little section because we're gonna have to quit about noon. And he's just got his fork and he's got it rolled, so hopefully you might not make it to the truck. You've got to be this way more.
What?
The truck's over here.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just getting it all down to the eve, and then I'll break it off in sections.
Okay. He's about 30 feet up there, by the way.
Can you even see anything from there?
You can barely see it.
You can come up here if you want.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a different viewpoint from the top. I'm up here now. I'm right here on top of you. On top. It's about that way. He's got it rolled down. There's just a few nails left remaining, then you just have to sweep off a little bit, but
That's the only way to do it. How far was the truck?
like where you are, that way.
Okay. You want to move it back a little bit? Move it back.
I don't know if I
Over and back. Drive.
could try. I've never driven that truck before. Anyway, we got up this morning and we just did this little section, and now we're doing this, and this is what we have left to do. So I'll give you a little update in a little bit. Okay, I moved the truck back a little bit. Finally, I got it started.
All right?
Pretty good, yeah. We just roll it up. Actually, I didn't do much on this one at all.
By the way, you did great moving the truck.
Whatever.
Play with that choke a little.
It's a hard thing to start, I feel like.
Trying to get underneath that thick tar paper.
I don't know if you can see that. Try to zoom in a little bit. Scroll you out. I really hope that glass doesn't break underneath because of that big piece. I guess it's our house, so it'll come out of our own pocket.
Making it?
I don't think so. I mean, I can't get any closer.
Huh?
We can't get any closer.
Missed? Shoot.
Yep, it missed. It hit the It hit the mirror. It hit the mirror.
Huh?
It hit the mirror.
Am I too far forward or just missing to the side?
You're just missing it that way.
We can't get any closer because that AC broke.
Exactly. There's a bracket outside this window right here that holds that big monster air conditioner. That's metal, so you can't really take it off the building. Oh man, this is scary. If you can really, if you could push it far, you'll make it. If not, I don't know if you'll make it.
I don't know if I can push it far.
Oh man, this is gonna be bad. Well, you'll either break the glass or you'll make it.
Great. Well,
I'm not sure. I saw the glass move.
go look at it.
Oh God. It's gonna be a big mess. I feel like some of it's making it and some of it's not. Yeah, some of it made it and some of it did not. The glass didn't break, so that's good. But do you see what I mean? There's a bracket right there. I can't get the truck any closer than that. Shoot.
Broke or what?
The glass didn't break, but there's a pile that we gotta pick up now. We're also gonna paint this house, I think, pretty soon, which is gonna be a job in itself. Like I said, it's about 28 feet to the bottom of that section of the house. 30 feet probably to the roof. And that's... Anyway, this is the dump truck. I don't know if we showed you that. It's like a 51 or a 52. Oops, sorry. It's just an old farm truck, and we use it for roofing, and we have, like you can see the windshield's all busted from shingles falling on it. That's been that way for years. We don't do much roofing anymore, just because we'd rather have our feet on the ground, but this is our personal house, one of our houses, so we're just doing it ourselves instead of paying somebody else.
So, another nasty storm. This one forecast for 80-mile-per-hour winds.
I don't know if it's picking that up. Oh, it's like swirling up there.
Okay. So, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Anyway, got all that done yesterday. Got the truck moved this morning. It's still making noises down there. Looks like I forgot to ice and water a section. Yeah, by the way, we're doing all ice and water, the whole thing, the storm shield, whatever you want to call it. But we're hoping we can get the rest of this part of the roof torn off. There's this section and around the corner that's about the same. Hopefully we can get them both done today. It's supposed to rain again later on about 4 o'clock, so we'll see.
Hopefully I'm blocking the wind enough. This is day 6, and we're going to try to get these 2 sides done here and here. So that way, and this couple valleys, these little valleys. And then all we have left to do is the garage, but Chad's tearing off now, so we've had to stop a couple of days. We've worked every day, but we've had to stop midday a few days because it got so hot, or it was going to rain or thunderstorm. So otherwise we could have just stayed longer during those days, but it's good to have a break, a long break, so you could take a nap and eat and whatever. But it's about 8:30 in the morning. We've been here for over an hour. Sunday morning. It's really calm out, other than a little bit of wind, but there's nobody out. It's nice. Day 7. We finished the top of the house. We still have the little turrets to do, but we did all the valleys. I'm tired and it's already hot at 9 in the morning. And today we're doing the garage. We're gonna do the whole thing, I think, before noon. We've got to be done before noon. It's 9 o'clock. I've been here 2 hours. Chad's been here an hour. Nah, Chad's like, I want one more cup of coffee, and I'm like, see, I'll be at the roof. But we tore this off in about an hour, and we'll do this one probably in about an hour. I'm tired. It's supposed to thunderstorm, so it's kind of humid today already. It's hot. But I better get started.